Hello and welcome to this vlog. I am going to be reading some cozy fall books in this video. I'm very excited because fall is almost basically here and fall is my favorite season ever. I love just the cold weather. I love the clothes. I love everything cozy. So it is my favorite and I love September, October, November, December. This is my favorite, I guess, quarter of the year. It is just absolutely the best. I am in such a fall reading mood, and also the weather has been perfect. Like the high today is 72 and that just makes my heart so happy because I just want it to be cold or at least cool outside, and it's been the hottest this week. So very happy about that. I immediately just put on a long sleeve shirt and I want to go outside and read. But I'm going to tell you about the books that I'm possibly going to be reading in this video. The one I'm currently reading, I'm actually listening to the audiobook of this. I am 100 pages in, and that is The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. This is the third book in the Thursday Murder Club mystery series. If you don't know about it, then it follows, I think, 4 octogenarians, I think is what they're called. So I think they're in their, is it their 80s maybe? 70s, 80s, I think 80s, and they like to look at mysteries that have not been solved before and solve them. This is the coziest book. I love these characters. I just want to be friends with them. This series is super cozy, and it's been, I don't know, it's probably been a year or two since I read the second book in the series, but I've had this one for a while and I've never been in the mood to read it. And then my hold for the audiobook finally came in, so I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. It feels like fall, or it's starting to be fall, so I was in a big mystery mood and I got it on the Libby app and I started listening to it. And then I've also, since I have a copy of it, I have been listening and reading at the same time, which has been really great, and I'm really into it now. So I don't think I'm going to be giving anything away in this, because even though this is the third book in the series, each one so far has kind of followed its own mystery. But I would say start with the first one because I just think you should. You get introduced to the characters, and the first one's super good too. But so far in this one, we're still following all 4 of the Thursday Murder Club. They have a new case that they're trying to solve. They're following a case about a reporter who mysteriously died. I think she was in her car and it went off a cliff, but they never found her body and they think that it was a murder. So the case was never solved and they're trying to solve it right now. It's so cozy, and there's not a whole lot I want to say about it right now because I don't want to give away everything that's going on. Basically, I think this is going to end up being 5 stars. I have heard mixed things about this one. I don't know, something happens in it and I might cry. I don't know. But so far, so good. And the audiobook, I want to recommend that because it has been great. It sounds like an older British woman is narrating the story, and I just want her to read everything to me. So that's that one. Also, I went to Barnes & Noble last weekend, I think, and I wanted to get some fall books. So I got Given Our History by Kristen Miller, and I'm just in love with this cover. I would have wanted to get it even if I didn't know anything about it because it's just the picture of fall. I don't honestly know a whole lot about it. I will say I read the first chapter to get kind of an idea of it, and it seems good so far. So I think it follows 2 history professors, and it also is goes to the past and the present, a time jump. It follows Clara and Teddy, and they're both, I think, like I said, history professors, and I think they were best friends in the past, in college, but something has happened and they have not talked for, it's either 6 or 10 years. I think he is gonna be coming to her college to teach, and she has just found that out, and she's not happy about it because, again, something has happened, they haven't talked. I think it's kind of is it friends to lovers, second chance romance, something like that, but it seems like it's going to be cozy. And I mean, being set at a college in the fall just sounds perfect. I'm pretty excited about this one. Also, I have another book that I'm going to be reading that I think I'm going to start today, actually, even though I haven't finished The Bullet That Missed. So I had no interest in reading this book, but I am getting pulled in, I think, by everybody else reading this. I've heard everybody talking about the third book that has just come out in like the Belladonna series. I did not want to read Belladonna. Anytime anybody ever talked about it, I just kind of had no interest. But yesterday, actually, I was watching a YouTube video. I don't remember whose it was, but they, again, mentioned the new Belladonna book. And then I was like, actually, that sounds like something I might want to read right now. It might sound perfect for the fall season. So I looked up Belladonna again. I read the description, and then I saw everybody that I'm friends with on Goodreads giving it 5 stars and saying so many good things about it. And it sounds like a really good fall book. So then I went from being not interested in it at all to now I have to read it today. So yesterday morning I figured this out, and I was gonna go after work to Barnes & Noble and get it. But I looked and they didn't have it. So I was like, I can't wait. I need to get it now. So I ordered it on Amazon, and it was supposed to be here today, and I checked and it is in the mail right now in the mailbox. So I'm about to go down there and get it, and I'm so excited. And I'm sure everybody that's watching this has probably already read it, but if you haven't, I am not 100% sure still what it is about. I know it's kind of like a gothic romantasy type of book, which again, that does not usually appeal to me, but I think I'm kind of in the mood for that. All I know is Death is a character in this book also, which seems a little bit intriguing, kind of like The Book Thief, where Death was actually telling the story. But I think in this one, Death is like the love interest. So we'll see how I feel about that. But I'm really excited to read it now, but I'm very iffy about it because, again, I usually don't gravitate towards like gothic type books. They don't usually interest me. So this could either be like I start it and I'm like, not for me, or I could start it and get just really immersed in it and fall in love with it. So I'm hoping it's that one. That is my plan for what I'm gonna read probably in this video. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself because, again, I have a minimal amount of time to read now, but I do have the desire to read all of these books and just get into the cozy mood. I'm gonna go down there to get that book. I'm also about to do my nails because I have nothing on them and I hate it. So I'm gonna put some of my Olive and June nails on, and they're like a kind of like a fall kind of color. So I'm excited to do that. But I'm gonna go down there and get that book right now and hopefully start reading it in the next little bit. So it is the next day now. I went to the park yesterday to read because I just had to be outside. It felt so good. So I did that. Also, I got Belladonna. So this came in yesterday. I was so excited. And like I said before, I was kind of nervous about it because I didn't know if it was gonna be too dark and if I was gonna be actually interested in it when I started to read it. So I started it yesterday and I'm already hooked on it because I love just how the story's going so far. So I didn't know a whole lot about it, but since I've started reading it, it is following Cigna. So since she was a baby, people around her have, like mostly in her family, I guess, have just kept dying. At the beginning of the story, there is a party going on and everybody at the party basically dies because there's poison in the wine. And even Cigna was supposed to die because she also had poison in her, but when Death came to get her, like, she wasn't dying. So he was confused. And ever since then, she's been passed around to all these different family members because they keep dying. And she has figured out that she cannot die because she's tried. Like, She figured out when she was younger, she fell and basically broke her neck, but then it like healed itself. Ever since then, she's like tried different things to see if she could die, and she can't. Every time that she does almost die though, she sees death, and she's getting pretty frustrated, honestly. She's 19 now, and she is trying to get close to death again so she can basically tell him to stop. All of her family members dying and stop her from not being able to die and all of this, because she just feels like death just keeps following her. But again, she can't die herself. I'm really interested in it because I feel like it's just something different than I've read before, and I just kind of want to know what's going on and what's going to happen. I really love Signa because I feel like she's such a good person, or she's trying to be, and she just hates that this just keeps happening to her and that people keep dying around her, and she feels terrible about it. And she's like, I just want to be a good person. She feels like something's wrong with her, and she feels really alone, especially because she doesn't really have any friends. She keeps having to move different places, and her family doesn't really want her, and that because they're kind of afraid that they're going to die. So far, I'm really, really loving it. I was telling my husband about it, and he said that seems like it's kind of a dark book, but it does sound like it, but it doesn't feel dark to me, and it doesn't feel heavy. I just want to keep reading. Also, when I started reading it yesterday, I was thinking, I feel like it's the perfect book for me right now. Like, it feels perfectly like fall time. I'm excited to read some more. I didn't get a lot read yesterday. I'm on page 32. So yes, I love it, but I'm only 30 pages in. So I will talk about it more soon. I'm about to read for a little while. I am also making some hot apple cider, and I'm making it in a crock pot. So I looked up a recipe. I've had it in a crock pot before, like instead of just getting a jug of it to drink, and it was so good. So I looked up a recipe, and I hope it turns out okay because I really, really want it. I'm just in such a fall mood, and the weather has been perfect this weekend. It's about to get hot again, which is sad. I'm excited to drink this tonight because I'm just wanting to do all the fall things. I will let you all know though how it turns out, if it tastes good. So that should be done. It was supposed to be 4 hours that it takes in the crock pot. So it's almost done, about 30 more minutes, and then I'll get to drink some of it. So I'm gonna drink some hot apple cider and read my book and just have a cozy time right now. So it is now Friday, and I've gotten home from work, and I wanted to just talk about The Bullet That Missed, because last night I did finish this book. Like I said, I was listening to the audio and kind of reading along as well, but I was really, really enjoying it. And then I saw that the audiobook was due in like 2 days. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to listen to this any spare moment I have. I finished it last night. I gave it 5 stars because I thought it was really, really good. This is the third one in the series, and I feel like I've heard some people say they don't like this one as much, but honestly, I feel like I enjoyed it just as much as the other two. I kind of gave a little bit of the plot before. I don't really want to say much else because I feel like you just need to go into it without knowing too much. I feel like no matter what this series is about, like what the mystery is, I'm gonna enjoy it because it's so cozy. I basically read it for the characters because they are just the best. I want to be friends with them. They're funny and just so lovable. The mystery, I feel like, is always good too. So I don't know, I just really love these books. I also really liked the other characters that were kind of introduced in this book. I don't know if they're going to be in the next book, but I really liked just seeing them work with the main 4 in the Thursday Murder Club. So I don't know, and I just feel like too it's funny to see people in the book meeting the people in the Thursday Murder Club. Other people meet them, and it's like everybody loves them. I don't know, they're just so good. I love each of their characters so much. I will read every single book that is in the series. He could write a ton of them and I would want to read them all. I will say that I feel like you need to read them in order just because, I mean, the mysteries are kind of their own thing. They don't connect really, but the storylines kind of do, and characters carry over from the first one. It will just make more sense, and I think you'll enjoy it more if you start with the first one. So I think there's only one more of these that's out right now, and I've heard that he's taking a break from this series, but he's gonna pick it back up, and he has a new book coming out that I just now realized, like next week, which is in a whole new series. So I'm really excited about that and really curious about it because I just feel like he's such a good author. I love the way he writes a book. Like some of the sentences that he writes, I feel like he explains like humans really well, if that makes sense. He's also pretty funny too. But I was listening to the audiobook last night. I was also like, I was physically reading it too, and I saw that the audiobook had like an hour left, but I had like 10 pages left, and I was like, something is not adding up. And then at the end of the audiobook, there was an interview with the author. So I thought that was really cool and surprising because I didn't realize that was at the end of the book. If you haven't read this and you love just cozy books or mysteries, like this whole series is definitely one that you need to read soon. And I think it's just perfect for the fall too. I have not read much more of Belladonna. I am still really enjoying it. I just haven't had a whole lot of time, and I've kind of devoted my reading time to The Bullet That Missed. Now I can fully focus on Belladonna. I really love just the atmosphere of it so far. I'm really excited that it's a series because I feel like I'm gonna want to read more of the books after this one's over. That's what I'm gonna do tonight. Also, I might end up watching like a cozy fall movie. Maybe You've Got Mail. I'm not sure yet. I was thinking maybe this weekend I might make like an apple crisp because I've never made that before. I don't know if I ever said the hot apple cider turned out really good and I really liked it, but I have so much of it left. Like I need to start drinking it every night. It is now the next day, and I did read maybe 1 or 2 chapters last night of Belladonna because I was so tired that like I could not process what I was reading. I wanted to like really be into the book when I was reading it, so my brain was just too tired. I had to put it down. But I did end up watching a movie, so I was looking for something to watch, and I kind of wanted to watch something that I've never seen before, so I ended up watching Miss Potter, which follows like Beatrix Potter's story of like publishing her first books. And actually really good. I feel like it would be a better spring movie because I kind of just associate Peter Rabbit with the springtime. I actually don't think I've ever read Peter Rabbit, which kind of shocks me, but I still really enjoyed the movie, and it was really interesting to like see about her life. I really like that time period too. It was like I think it was the early 1900s, but it was also kind of a sad story as well, but it was still good. I would recommend it. Just you might want to wait until the spring to watch it. My plans for today are to read as much as I can because I don't really have anything I have to do today. My husband is gone for work again this weekend, so he will be back tomorrow, which is good, but I'm by myself, so I'm trying to like think of fun things I can do today to kind of get my mind off of being alone. I do want to read some because the weekend is usually when I have the most time to read. So I'm just kind of trying to think where I want to read. So weather's not the best today for reading outside. I mean, it's not terrible. I'm just like wanting it to be cold, and it's not cold. I don't know if I'll do that. I might have to just stay at home and read. I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out. And then I also might want to go somewhere just to kind of break up my day and do something, get out of the house. But I'm thinking about going to Barnes & Noble. I don't know that I'll get a book because I don't know if I should, but I do have a little bit of money on my account that I could use. And there's some books on my fall TBR that I'm really kind of wanting to get, but I have to like be careful because I have a problem with going and like really wanting to read another book and like going to buy it, and then I start it because I'm so excited about it, but I'm also still reading another book that I need to finish. So that's really hard. I don't know. It's kind of hard being a mood reader sometimes. I'm trying to have all my focus on Belladonna though, because right now I'm only like actively reading one book, and I want to be able to be fully focused on it and finish it before I read another one. I still might go and buy a book at Barnes & Noble. I just need to make sure I don't pick it up and read it yet until I finish this other book. Those are my plans, my loose plans for today, but I think I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to make the apple crisp because I think I would like to have it be like warm whenever my husband gets home so he can enjoy it too. So that is my plan. I also might watch another movie tonight. I want to watch like a mystery because I've really been in like a mystery mood so far this fall, but I am thinking about watching Enola Holmes, which I've seen both of them, but I really like them and it's been a while since I've watched them, so I might pick one of those to watch. But that is all my plans I have so far. I might end up doing something else, but I will take you all along on whatever I end up doing. Target, and I didn't get anything from there, and I didn't end up filming anything in Target because it is always like crazy busy in there, so I'm definitely not filming in there. But after Target, I went to Barnes & Noble. I really didn't think I was gonna get a book because I feel like the books I want right now, I was looking and they don't have them, so I just decided to go in there anyways and just look around to kill some time. I didn't really look much anywhere except for the children's section actually, because I hadn't been into the children's section in a while, and I love middle grade books. So went in there, looked around a little bit. I had never had any desire to read Robin Hood, but I saw that edition that they had on display and I was like kind of reading it a little bit, and I was like, I kind of want to read Robin Hood now. But I feel like that would be more of a spring summer book, so I didn't buy it even though I really wanted to. It was such a cute edition too. And really, it's not that much. It was like $8. So I might go in there again sometime soon and try to get that one. Now I'm interested in reading Robin Hood. So if you've read that, let me know, because I was looking and I don't really see that anyone's read it that I am friends with on Goodreads. So maybe that's also bad of me. Like, I'm someone who, anytime I find a book that I would maybe be interested in reading, I go on Goodreads to see what my friends have said about it, and if no one has read it, then I don't know what to think of it. And if people have read it and they don't have really good reviews for it, then sometimes I usually don't read it, which I should probably give it a chance on my own. That's just the way I am. But anyways, so I do want to read Robin Hood now. Didn't get it. I also saw, I feel like there was a lot of like fall Halloween type books that were out in the children's section. I didn't really see a lot in like the adult section when I was looking around. There were some that I would like to read soon. I did end up getting a book from the children's section. I've had this one on my TBR for probably 2 or 3 years. I was like, I think I'll buy a children's book today because they're always so cheap and I haven't read a middle grade in a while. So I got Rooftoppers by Catherine Rundell. I've heard a couple people have read this and they really enjoyed it. It's about a girl who was found as a baby floating in a cello case in the middle of the English Channel. It says a bachelor ends up taking her in and taking care of her, but then Child Protective Services, it says Charles uses toast as a bookmark and welcomes Sophie writing on the walls. So he seems a little different, but it says Child Protective Services threatened to take her away and put her in an orphanage, so they end up leaving to go to Paris to basically run away from Child Protective Services. and they go and search for Sophie's long-lost mother. And it says she meets a group of children who live under the radar atop the rooftops of Paris. So I think this sounds really good. And I don't know, the cover kind of makes me think of like winter, fall time, maybe more winter, but I feel like this is going to be a really good story. I at least want to give it a chance. But that is all that I got from Barnes & Noble. And then I was going to leave and just go on home, but my Barnes & Noble is close. Like, I was driving past Kirkland's, which I never really go in there because everything's so expensive, but they had so much fall stuff like outside, and I was like, I have nothing to do, so I'm just gonna pop in there. So I went in there, and they do have a lot of fall stuff out. I found a lot of cute things. I didn't get anything. I feel like out of all the places I've been so far to look for fall decorations, I feel like Kirkland's has had the most that I've liked. And then now I'm home. Little tiny update on Belladonna. I read a little bit more. It kind of makes me feel almost the same as when I was reading Caraval. I don't know if it's Caraval. I'm just gonna say Caraval. It has that same type of feel to it, and I loved Caraval. I read it, the whole series. Well, the 3 books in that series I read last October, I think, but I loved it so much. And this, I feel like, has the same type of like vibe, I guess. It's making me really enjoy it. That's just a tiny little update on it. I need to read some more of it because I only read for like an hour. So I'm gonna go do that, and I will talk to you all soon. It is now Friday night. I've had another busy week, so I have been reading, but haven't really had enough time to sit and talk about things. The first update I want to give, though, is on the apple crisp. So I did make that on Sunday, and it was perfect. Like, I've been craving some sort of apple dessert for like 2 weeks, and this apple crisp was exactly what I wanted. It just hit the spot perfectly. If you are thinking of making an apple crisp and you need a recipe, I'll leave this one down below because I thought it turned out perfect. It was also really easy. The next update I have is on Belladonna. So I am now 263 pages in, and I'm on chapter 30. Signa is trying to figure out this mystery of what is happening to the people in this household that she's living in now. So her cousin has passed away, and they don't really know what happened. Like, she kind of all of a sudden became really sick, and then quickly after that died. So now her cousin's daughter is sick, looks like with the same thing, and Signa is thinking that she's actually being poisoned. So she's trying to figure out this mystery of who is poisoning her cousin, so that way she can figure it out and save her. So I'm really liking the mystery part of it because I don't really know who it is. I have a couple of theories, but I'm probably wrong. But also I feel like we've just now started getting into like the romance part. I mean, there's been kind of like a little bit sprinkled in. You can tell she kind of likes different people, but in the last, like, probably it hasn't been very heavy on romance until like 200 pages in, 250 pages in, which hasn't bothered me. Like, I feel like the storyline is so interesting that I don't even really need much romance in this one, but I feel like it's coming for sure. I don't know how I feel about it though, because I don't know. Number one, I don't know who she's gonna end up with. Also, I don't know how it's going to work out between some people if she does get together with them. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that right now, but I'm sure probably by the end of the book I'll have a more solid like answer on how I feel about that. I feel like if it's done well, then maybe I'll be on board with the romance that might be going on. But yeah, so far I'm iffy on that, but I'm still really enjoying the book. I feel like it's the perfect book for right now. I do think it actually takes place in October, and they keep talking about like the cool fall weather, so it feels really perfect for right now. I know it's not October, but I feel like we're close enough, and in my mind it's fall. So I don't know, it feels just very cozy, and again, it does feel kind of gothic, but even if you don't like gothic books, because I don't like gothic books, I would still try this because for some reason it's just really feeling like the perfect book to me to read right now. But yeah, that's my update on that. I'm hoping to read more of it tomorrow and get pretty close to finishing because I am enjoying it, but there's so many books I want to read that like I don't want to spend like 2 or 3 weeks reading one book. But that's kind of just how my life is right now. Like I don't have a whole lot of time to read every day. So I'm just reading as much as I can. My main goal right now though is to finish Belladonna and get that all wrapped up. Just gotten home from work. It is now Friday, and last night I finished Belladonna. So I wanted to come on here and wrap this vlog up because I finally finished this book. I feel like I have some thoughts on it because last night when I finished it, I was trying to figure out what to rate it, and I was having trouble because I really loved it, but there were some things about it towards the end that I just feel like didn't feel super realistic about how certain people would react to things. I'm not going to give any spoilers, so some of this might not make sense if you haven't read it. Just the way things were wrapped up, I feel like wasn't super believable. Like something happened that was revealed to us, and I feel like nobody really reacted to it. It was just kind of like not really talked about anymore, or like when it was mentioned, like more towards the end, I feel like people weren't making a big enough deal about it. I don't know, maybe that's just me being picky. I was just like, I think because I was so shocked by it that I was so confused why not everybody was like, what's going on here, and making a bigger deal out of it. That's mainly my only criticism, is just how things wrapped up and how people were reacting to certain things. Another thing, the love story part of it, I feel like I was kind of iffy on it throughout the whole thing because I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this or if I'm like on board with it. I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite part of the book. Honestly, I don't want to say it was my least favorite part of the book, but it wasn't my favorite part, and it kind of shocked me. I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite part. But I will say by the end, I was a little bit more on board with it, and I was okay with it. I just didn't enjoy that part as much as I wanted to, and maybe in the second and third book, we'll get more of that, and I'll be more into it. I don't know, it sounds like I didn't like the book. I loved it, I really did. The atmosphere was perfect. It felt like such a great fall book. The storyline was so interesting. Like, it kept my attention the whole time. I was never bored. It was just something different. I've never read anything like this before. I really liked that part of it. I will say, I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. I ended up rounding up on Goodreads to 5 just because of the couple things that I had some issues with, like I said at the end. There was one thing though that I had a theory about from the very beginning, and I was right about it, so that made me happy. I am excited to continue reading the series. I have heard good things about the second one. I've heard mixed things about the third one, so I would definitely recommend this book, especially like during this time of year. If you haven't read it yet and you want to add something to your fall TBR, I would definitely suggest this one. So I did end up reading 2 books in this video that I really enjoyed. I feel like they were both good for the fall time, and I'm really happy with both of them. Great mystery book. If you haven't read The Thursday Murder Club, please do that. And then I would also say Belladonna was a win also, especially me not knowing if I was going to like it or not, or how I was going to feel about it. So yeah, I'm really happy with both of the books I read in this video. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody that watches my videos and comments. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.